All right, next up, this from the Black Information Network. White House staffers line the lawn with roughly 100 mugshots of alleged undocumented immigrants who have been arrested and the alleged crimes they committed, Newsweek reports. On Monday, April 13th, the White House lawn was filled with posters featuring large mugshots of men with the words illegal alien and their alleged crimes, like sexual contact with child and child molestation. In bold letters, names and exact locations of the individuals weren't included on the posters, which lined Pebble Beach, an area where television crews typically get live shots in front of the White House. The move to blast images of alleged undocumented immigrants on the White House lawn comes as President Donald Trump tries to draw attention to his actions he's taken during his first 100 days in office. One of Trump's campaign promises was a crackdown on immigration through mass deportations. So how about you take this one first? Because I kind of sucked up all the oxygen in the last one.
Pretending that this has anything to do with immigration is the funny part.
Mm-hmm.
Immigration and deportation are words that we use on a regular basis with regards to this administration and its practices. But people are getting arrested while going through the steps, the proper steps to become citizens here. At green card and permanent resident appointments, at citizenship appointments. People are people are being set up to be picked up while going through the proper steps to be a citizen here. Most of those people are already a part of our working class, already paying taxes that they don't benefit from, already working jobs that we wouldn't sign up for, that you couldn't pay us enough to do, are being targeted and treated like some type of game. Like, this is the most cruel administration of our lifetime, and celebrating at every turn. It's like the more cruel, mean-intentioned, racist, oppressive thing they do, the louder they amplify it. Really, really playing the hits to their base. You know, look at how racist we are. Look at how strong we are. Look how much we can bully people and nothing happens to us. Weird flex, but to their people, I'm sure that's the move. Like, look how cruel and racist we can be. Look how xenophobic we can be. Look at our white nationalist, white supremacist position on full display. And give us a round of applause for it. Everything from their press briefings to his signing of executive orders, like, every decision is a cruelty decision. You know, I always say I wish, or I don't wish, but you think they would disguise some of it in policy that benefits someone, right? Even like their tax cuts. That's something they could at least say out loud. We're doing to help some people. Now it's people that don't need help. The richest 1% on the planet, right? But at least you can say the words, we're doing this to help someone. All they do is flaunt all the things they do that are harmful. And it's every single decision that they make is a harmful decision for some group. And they seem to really, really be into that. It's a really disgusting thing to have to witness on a daily basis. There have been more executive orders than there have been days of the week this year. I mean, than there have been days this year. I'd love for everyone to process that. There have been more executive orders than there have been days this year.
You know what?
And all of them are intended to harm someone.
Yeah, none of them are. Yeah, I know what you mean. None of them are like
the harm isn't the byproduct or some unintended consequence. No, that's the whole point.
Yeah. You know, the thing about, you know, what I'm seeing here is that, you know, the people that I don't think that people really understand. You know, obviously the people that are the MAGA folks, Trump is their guy, right? It doesn't matter what he does, he's their guy. But I think that, you know, the people that are just kind of like the casual Trump voters, the Republicans that are like, well, that's the Republican guy, I vote Republicans, I'm just vote for him, right? The thing that troubles me is I don't know how they can excuse the fact that if the Ku Klux Klan is supporting Donald Trump, if Nazis are supporting Donald Trump, if all the racist people, the actual racist people that are out loud, like, yes, I'm a racist, those type of people, they're supporting Donald Trump. I don't know how the decent folks who happen to land on the right don't look at that and say, well, listen, the world that the Ku Klux Klan would like to see is aligned with Donald Trump. The world that the Nazis would like to see is aligned with Trump. I'm going to vote for Trump, not for those reasons, but I'm going to vote for Trump. And then those same voters turn around and ask us to, like, deal with it, to like they don't understand why we would vote against it. Why are you, why Trump is going to do right by you? Listen, can you connect those dots? You don't even have to just connect those dots. Just incorporate those elements into your reasoning, and then you'll understand how what you're voting for oppresses us further, right? So that's the first thing. And as illustrated by the fact that this is exactly what the racist people want. Racist people, their whole deal is to oppress other people so that they can be supreme, right? And his values and his policies align with that goal, which is why they have the full-throated endorsement. And you, the fiscal conservative, you, the person who's just, look, man, a God, country, and guns, man, I love black folks just fine. You, that person, ignores that fact, ignores the fact that further validates our reality. If you don't accept that this is oppressive, this is further marginalize us, will you accept it from a fellow white person? They happen to be racist and probably stupid, but they are white, okay? And that's the world they want to live in. Does it now make more sense why we look at that as oppressive? Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, this is obviously a politically slanted maneuver at the White House to put photos of alleged immigrant or alleged illegal immigrants on the White House lawn with the crimes they've committed and the fact that they've deported, right? This is heavily biased, right? You have a handful of signs in the yard, and maybe these are all people that are real, and they have names, and this is all whatever. But I think it's something 100,000 plus people have been deported, well below the number that Donald Trump promised to deport. But that's the number, right? What's been reported largely is that most of these people were not criminals at all. They had no criminal history whatsoever, right? So if you're cherry picking a mugshot and a crime, alleged crime that this person is supposed to have committed, and celebrating the fact that you deported them, there's like clearly a bias there, because you're not just showing the average person. The average person would not have committed a crime, right? So you're zeroing in on the actual quote unquote criminals, and highlighting that, right? But if I followed you that far, that would be too much. The thing is, where we go from bias to propaganda is when you don't list the names, you don't list where they're from, you don't list anything. Okay, so this is not verifiable. This is simply what the government wants you to think. It is propaganda that they put on the front lawn of the White House. This is supposed to be the people's house. This is an American institution, and it is soiled with propaganda. We had a conversation with Yannick Gill. This is something you would expect in a North Korea or in a Russia. This is not something you would expect on the White House lawn in the United States of America.